All right, let me see if I can get this right. Okay, if you're not in the right frame of mind and in the right frame of spirit, more likely you're going to get upset at this video. But what you need to do is try to hear me, and then try to relate what I'm saying with facts without a bunch of feelings and emotions. And let's see if we can begin to understand somebody else's experience or pain. All right, let's try this for a moment. Let's make an attempt. Okay, obvious that there is an organization out there that's called Black Lives Matter. Now, I don't think that they have no certain headquarters, anything like that yet, and still, people are organizing under this banner, Black Lives Matter. What I see, every time I see one of these protests, Black Lives Matter, the people who are part of this protest, I see a mixed multitude of people. I see Mexicans, I see Puerto Ricans, I see what they call black folks, I see white folks, I see all different types of nationalities. So while I may have the slogan Black Lives Matter, it seems to me personally, that all lives in there that is joined with this group matter. But the slogan is Black Lives Matter simply because in this country, let me get this history right, because history is vital and history is very important. I mean, after all, every single time we're talking about something Bible, they tell us to remember the Holocaust, which I personally believe is a fabrication, but they say remember the Holocaust. And the reason why I believe it's a fabrication is because the numbers, as far as people go, is all wrong. And they have many things they want us to remember in history. You know, remember the American Revolution. Remember the War of 1812. Remember World War I. Remember World War II. But it seems like every time that it's time to remember something in reference to my people's history, all of a sudden, the conservatives, the news sources, they all come out against it and they start actually racial discrimination. For instance, when you start talking about the transatlantic slave trade, the greatest atrocity that has ever been perpetuated against any mankind in the history of the earth. And yet and still America won't repent for it. They just simply will not repent for it. In the Holocaust, which we had nothing to do with, i.e. meaning America, why are we paying reparations to these Jews to the tune between 11 and $20 billion every single year? We just give it to the state of Israel, along with our military power and our military might. But we just give it to them because of the Holocaust. But yet and still, my people ain't got nothing. We have received nothing far as reparations or restitution. Now, I know that in itself is going to inflame and enrage a lot of people, but the truth is, put yourself in the shoes of the Hebrews that was taken from the continent of Africa, brought over here against their will, sold on slave ships, and then sold into this country. Let me get this history right. My people were sodomized, brutalized, raped, robbed, murdered, lynched, killed, beaten, all by the Europeans. Now, let me see. The Europeans came over here and they sit down with the indigenous people of the land, which at the time just happened to be the Indians. And they had a meal with them. They welcomed them with open arms. The Europeans did. The Mexicans welcomed, or the Indians, welcomed the Europeans with open arms. And immediately after they got finished eating, they slaughtered 700 indigenous people of the land. That's what the Europeans did. And they called this and made it a national day called Thanksgiving. So you have a lot of ignorant people in this country celebrating Thanksgiving and celebrating a slaughter of the indigenous people of this land called the Indians. Let me make sure I get this right now. But the Indians, they call it the National day of mourning. What y'all do is go and look that up. Y'all go look that up. Also, the Europeans who occupied and settled on this land, they didn't come over here under war. They came under the guise of deception. They said it'd been another thing. They came under the guise of war, but they didn't come that way. And everything that I'm speaking about is totally against the Bible, the type of slavery that the Europeans were involved in, commonly called Americans now, and the sodomizing and the brutalizing of people and taking and breaking up families and selling their children. But all of a sudden now, let me say, America always wants to forget this history and they want to move past it as if it never happened, but they always want us to remember the Holocaust. And that's amazing. Amazing. They also took the black Hebrew people of the land who was stolen from Africa. And that's what let me digress here for a second. The whites would often say that, well, it was y'all people that sold each other into slavery. No, that's where you have it wrong. It was the Africans that sold the Hebrews into slavery. That's why you need a good Zondervan Bible dictionary. And it would tell you what the word Negroes mean. Negroes actually came from Ibos, Hebos, Hebrews, Negroes. And I know, believe me, I'm speaking to an audience, I hope, that would do their due diligence and check behind me to see if I'm saying it so. Because I'm pushing a lot of historical fact here that you may be totally oblivious of. But these same people, when they went down into Florida and stuff, they would actually take my people's babies and put them in the swamps and hook them up and use them for gator bait. Yeah, the white people of this land used to use my people for gator bait. Well, as we fast forward, the Constitution was drafted and written and said that all men were created equal, but that didn't include white women. That didn't include slaves because we had no power. So therefore, we were not included. All men were created equal. As a matter of fact, the actual Constitution referred to us as 3/5 human. It's amazing. And since then, there's been some changes in there. That was the mindset of these people today. So you can see the reason why that they didn't see any problem with it. Now, let me see. So we have an organization today called Black Lives Matter. And I don't see nothing wrong with people organizing because, after all, when I read these books that I have in my hand right here, Constitution of the United States, and believe me, I know what it says. Declaration of Independence, believe you me, I know what it says. Bill of Rights, Jury Handbook, believe me, I know what it says. See, these are the laws of this land right here, allegedly, as if we haven't been usurped by some shadow government. But when I think about this for a second, I don't see nothing wrong with people organizing and have an organization called Black Lives Matter. Because after all, have we not had organizations called the Black Panthers? But it seems like every time to me, and I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like every time black people organize, it seems like that the majority of the populace, which just happen to be European whites, actually start coming out and opposing and in rebellion against them. And we're the ones that's been beaten. We're the one that's being heinously murdered on the streets. All you gotta do is look at the latest news clippings. And it's just amazing. But nobody ever protests the Freemasons. Nobody ever protests the Scottish Rite and the York Rite, which is a racist organization. Because check it out. If you are a Freemason, a black man or an Indian or Mexican cannot join those organizations. Check it out. So what the Freemasons did was create another lodge for the black people to keep them separate from the whites. And it's called the Prince Hall Lodge. Much to be desired, isn't it? And then you have, AIPAC. That's the Jewish organization. Nobody's protesting these people for organizing. You have the NRA. I can go on and on. You have Gun Owners of America. You have organizations all over the place, but it seems like the only time, to me, that it matters is when black people start organizing, start protesting their government, which, according to this, is right, for redressing a grievance. And of course, this don't even matter today because the one reason why the cops are dying on the streets today is because trained military veterans who are black are getting fed up at the injustices that are going on in this land. You can spin it and call it whatever you want. It still is not stopping the fact that cops are dying on the streets, just like the blacks are dying on the streets. They're getting choked out. They're actually getting shot and murdered in cold blood. And what would we do today if we didn't have cell phone video evidence? And even this still doesn't matter, because when you have a wicked and corrupt system to where somebody like Hillary Clinton can lie and say that she was under fire while she was trying to get out of Benghazi, and she actually left high and dry, which nobody wants to hear. The mother whose sons died over there at Benghazi and heard these lame excuses from Barack Hussein Obama and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and how that these people opposed the lies that they told, including the people who had boots on the ground that was told to stand down once and told, wait, no, no, no. I can't tell you how many times they possibly could have saved the ambassador. In other words, we had Americans in place ready to go in to put their lives in danger in order to save other Americans, but our State Department stopped it. And we don't call that a heinous murder. And then we have all this espionage that's going on with Clinton and these emails. And we seeing that the FBI is also bought and sold by the Clintons and the powers that be, the New World Order. And I mean, we got a lot of drama going on in this country, don't we? A whole bunch of drama. Now, when somebody asks me, I think that the social ills in this country speak for itself. I don't care personally if you're black or white. If you get shot unjustly by a police officer, and we all know what's going to happen. They're going to get acquitted. They're going to stage some people. They're going to pay off some people. The judge is going to steer the jury in a direction that they want it to go, and they're going to get acquitted. They're going to get administrative leave with pay. They're going to get off. 99.9% of the chance. But if you and I defended our lives against a cop, we going to prison. We're going to jail. And it's just a straight up imbalance in this country. It's just wicked. And it's just sad and sorry. But I guess that when you look at a veteran like Christopher Dorner, who was also a police officer and wasn't going to go with the flow of the good old boy club at the Fraternal Order of Police, you saw what they did. In California, they became judge, jury, and executioner. They had a firefight. They had probably about 200-something police officers, federal, state, and local, all firing up on one building for one man. Now, I'm saying all this and dropping all this knowledge here, as painful as it is. It's all the truth. All you have to do is just go search. Don't let your feelings and your emotions run wild, and don't start digressing and saying, well, what about this and what about that? Let's just try to use a little bit of autonomy. Let's just try to stick with what I'm talking about, because I'm not impervious, nor am I oblivious of history, be it history of antiquity or modern day history. I know exactly what I'm talking about. What I'm trying to get you is I'm trying to get you to stay the course and be able to deal with your heart to see if there's any integrity in it whatsoever at all. Because see, my experience with police officers is not good. Yours may be different. And so I can feel the pain and the agony of these people who are suffering unjustly under a corrupt judicial system. I mean, the White House is corrupt. Washington is corrupt. The FBI is corrupt. The CIA is corrupt. They're all corrupt. Everybody, all of them all corrupt. There's no justice in this land. It's only justice for just us. And that's the good old boy club. Let me see. We've had our money robbed from us. We done went from a system of just weights and balances to ironclad slugs and paper. And now we're functioning out there. So, I mean, and we're $20 trillion in debt. And it looks like this country has no stomach at all to even balance the budget. Through the wicked trade deal of GAFTA and CAFTA, That outsourcing of jobs has allowed companies to go to countries and to pay slave wages to these people only to sell their goods back to the Americans at the same price, if not higher, and profit it. That's called free market capitalism. I mean, there's much to be desired. I just got finished dropping a lot of truth. And besides, the fallacy of religion in itself, when there is no such thing, according to the scriptures, the Bible, as a religion called Christianity. No at all, none at all. But yet and still, this religion has came up on the scene after the apostles and said that now the Sabbath has been changed from Saturday to Sunday. We don't have to keep the holy feast days and holidays, holy days, but we keep holidays, and we keep Christmas, Easter, and Thanksgiving, and Halloween, and all these other days, which have nothing to do with the Bible at all. And they're all pagan in nature. Is there any truth left in this land whatsoever at all? Do I believe all lives matter? I sure do. I think that injustices perpetuated against anyone at any given time is a crime. I personally think we ought to go back to the Torah. I think that when we leave the laws of Yahweh, the Bible is the best-selling book in the whole entire world. Has been and always been, and yet still we don't follow it. Our laws in this land totally different. You know what the Bible says about a sodomite? Maybe I'll go read Deuteronomy 23, see what it says for yourself. You know what it says about homosexuality and lesbianism and stuff? Maybe I'll go read Leviticus 20 for yourself, see what it says. Oh, I know, they've told you we're not under that law, I understand. And since we're not under that law, we're morally decayed, we're spiritually bankrupt, and we're going to hell in a handbasket, and most of us can't even recognize this country no more. After World War II, we had to endure Jim Crow laws. They had, treating my people, they had a black water fountain and a white water fountain. They had a white restroom and a black restroom. And we could try to go in a restaurant to get something to eat, and they said, we're not going to serve you because you're a nigger. The white people in this country ain't never had a plight or a flight like that where they had to endure this social engineering and this psychological warfare that's been upon us as a people. They ain't never had to endure that. And the people that are alive today are reaping and enjoying the benefits of the slave masters who had us out in the field picking cotton and down in the Americas doing sugarcane, running sugarcane. I mean, I'm just stating facts and reality. I mean, I just got finished driving to town, and I took the back way just to see if this bridge is still the same, because it had all these racial graffiti on it. And I live in a town that 98%, 99% of this town is white, Caucasian. And they make no qualms about their rebel flags flying and everything. That's their prerogative. I'm not against them flying their rebel flags. Have fun, fly all you want. I'm glad to know who you are. But they fly their rebel flags because everybody who flies a rebel flag is not flying it for the same intent that some of these other people do. But I'm utterly amazed at the hypocrisy of this country. And it's totally inconceivable to me how that people just simply cannot hear the truth for what it is and then do something about it. But we want to continually keep saving face and acting as if everything is all right. Sweep it under the rug and let's move on. But remember the Holocaust. I mean, it's nonsensical to me. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever at all. And I'm sorry that I don't have my head stuck in the ground. I'm a very informed pastor. Yes, I am too. It just don't make sense. So we've been racial profile. We're still racial profile. Oh, the bridge. The bridge still, again, now it still has a swastika. And now it says F-U niggers. And I didn't use the first part because I don't never use the F word. Do I use damn, hell, ass, shit? Yeah, that's probably about the extent of what you people call curse words. And you don't even know what a curse word is. You call it profanity. You don't even know what profanity is. I will give you a hint, though. You break the commandments, you have just cursed. Hallelujah. But anyway, when I bring up stuff like this, does it hurt? Is there any pain there? Does it cause resentment or hostility? Because again, when I'm looking at these Black Lives Matter rallies and protests, I see a lot of white people in there. And I see a lot of white people. I see a lot of Hispanics and Mexicans and everything. And of course, now the big thing is illegal immigration. Well, the last time I checked, the illegal immigrants are the occupiers and the settlers of this land because you illegally stole this land from the indigenous people of this land, meaning the Indians and the Mexicans. So just like overseas in Palestine, where you have these Ashkenazi Jews, that means they come from the Caucasus Mountains up in Russia. They're playing the people of the Bible called Jews. They were in Germany. They got ran out of Russia, ran out of Germany, and then America and Great Britain, under the League of Nations, by the Balfour Agreement, didn't even ask Palestine if it was all right, but they said, we're going to give you this land, and they took it, and now they're acting like as if they are the original people of this land. And you know, they talk out the side of their neck, because then they'll turn around and tell you that they have no genetic link with Abraham whatsoever at all. What the hell is going on? What is going on? So now you have these European Ashkenazis that are Israelis fighting against the Palestinians, the indigenous people of that land, and they're supported by the military might of the United States of America, and these people have rocks and a few little bottle bombs. They're at war. The reverse is happening over here in the United States of America. You see, the Mexicans, they lost the war at the Alamo. But now, you know what they're doing? They're taking back the land. And that is what Fox News is afraid of. That's what they're not telling you. They're not telling you that the white people in this country is becoming extinct. Because there's a lot of mixing going on among what they call races. I call it nationalities. And all the white women that the Europeans, the American Europeans, do not want, the Mexicans are taking up. And they're having children. And so now, it's not so much about as illegal immigration as is there's a breeding process that is breeding and making extinct the white people over here in the United States of America. So when you get finished with all the noise, that's what's really truly going on. 1 minute we say we don't care, it don't matter about race and race relations. Then the next minute you start to watch all this speech that they're really truly not revealing to you the intent of their heart or what's really happening. I love it. I love it when people call me racist. I truly, truly do. I love it. Because you can tell that they're speaking from the darkness of their heart because they don't know nothing about me. But if you will go to www.straightwaytruth.com, you're going to see my family. STRAITWAYTRUTH.com. You're going to see my family. If you go to this website right here and you look in the congregation, you're going to see my family. You're going to see a mixed multitude of people. Yeah, we have Japanese, Koreans, blacks, whites, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans. I mean, we have a plethora of people in our congregation. And yet and still, the people who are racist have the audacity and the unmitigated gall to call me racist. I tell you what, it's all but laughable, isn't it? It really is laughable. I just got finished sharing with you history that is totally avoided in high school and universities all across this land. I just got finished telling you the university of the painful truth. Now, with everything that I spoke about, let's see if we can intelligently respond to this video. Let's see if we can have some intelligence and show some intelligence. Because what's happening now is that the Europeans who have occupied America and settled here against the will of the indigenous people, they're going to have to try to build a wall in order to keep the flow of Mexican immigrants. So again, it's all laughable with me when they talk about illegal immigration and we don't want to give them jobs. You know, and the reason why it's laughable to me is because these same Europeans that's running America and running this country, you didn't hear them hollering and screaming about illegal immigration when they bought my people, the Hebrews. The Hebrew Israelites over on slave ships and put them out in the fields and held them at gunpoint and raped our women at night and made mulattoes. You don't hear them hollering and screaming about illegal immigration when they did that, but now all of a sudden, illegal immigration is something to be reckoned with, huh? So much for the land of the free and the home of the brave. And mind you, let me finish off with this. You're speaking with a veteran United States Army airborne paratrooper. I like to see how this video is going to do. What about you? Let's see. We're going to find out what the real true colors of someone's heart really is. Hope y'all have a wonderful day.